The biggest ideas can come from far and wide.
From people who haven't even discovered their path yet.
When the whole world is changing, if you can come with ambition and an open mind, then anything is possible.
It's an opportunity to make connections and friendships that last a lifetime.
An opportunity to create a legacy.
Success isn't always measured by gains, but by impact.
How impactful can you be?
I know what kind of world I want to live in, and it's not just going to happen.
We have to build our future.
Step out of your comfort zone.
And look forward to a better tomorrow.
This
is our time.
Hello and welcome to Kent Clearing Advice Live. As we approach results day this Thursday, many of you will have questions about how clearing works or questions about the University of Kent itself. Well, over the next hour or so, we'll have staff and students on hand to answer your questions, which you can send in via the YouTube or Facebook Live comments panel, and we'll get those answered for you by our various panellists. Now, as we're all obviously social distancing and remoting in from our various homes, do bear with us if we encounter any technical hitches. We'll look to get those sorted as soon as possible. So let's begin and head over to Recruitment Officer Annie to explain what will be going on Thursday. Annie, let's head over to you to tell us a little bit more about what's going to be happening this Thursday and a little bit more about the clearing process generally.
Okay, so clearing is where universities open up any vacancies that they have left. It's various different students who apply. But it's often kind of people who may have missed their results, or it could be people who would want to try for a different course. Obviously, this year we are working from home, so we're still available to speak to on the clearing hotline, but we have our phones in our home.
Absolutely, and it's obviously a very hectic day, as you pointed out. There's going to be lots of students calling in. Give us a little bit of a flavour of what goes on normally with the clearing day and how it's going to be slightly different this year.
Okay, so this year all of our kind of clearing hotline operators are working from home, and that means we'll still be answering the phone, still be answering your queries, but they'll just be at home. So that's what's slightly different from our perspective. From your perspective, I suppose in terms of collecting results, that's going to be slightly different for students, and that'll be up to your schools and colleges what you do. But once you've received your results, you can just apply online like usual. You just go to kent.ac.uk/clearing.
Absolutely, and we'll be saying those details throughout the rest of this live event in case you do have any questions you want to send in, and of course when it comes to Thursday if you've got any questions there as well. Thank you very much for that explainer, Annie. We're going to come back to you with a few more questions in a bit, but let's head over to Afia now. Afia, you're a student that went through the clearing process yourself. Tell us a little bit about what that experience was like and how you came to Kent.
Yeah, so I came through clearing, and I think initially kind of have that pre-assumption that it's going to be a daunting experience, but actually it was far from that. The process was really smooth, and I had someone that already went to Kent who went through clearing who kind of advised me that Kent actually were really accommodating. So that was like the first call that I knew I was going to make, and they were exactly that. I just called told them like what the grades I had, and yeah, they just made everything work, and I got onto a course that I was happy with, and actually it didn't take too long at all. The process wasn't as intimidating or embarrassing as I thought it would be. It went pretty smoothly.
That's really good to hear, because I think, as you pointed out, there's a lot of prospective students will have that anxiety over clearing itself, and also a little bit of that uncertainty of where they might end up. I think you finished your time at Kent, if I'm correct, as a student. Tell us a little bit about how you found that experience and what advice you might give to prospective students looking at Kent.
Yeah, so I literally just finished studying history just in like June time, and I've had a great time at Kent. It was really, the area is nice to live in. I've enjoyed being part of various different societies, and being really hands-on with the things that I'm passionate about. So that's like student media, sport. I've been all around different parts of the UK playing netball. And then my course as well was really good, and we had a lot of, well, in my course in particular, the topics that I studied were quite unique, and I know that other people that do history as well that weren't able to kind of specialise in such different topics that I got to. So I think overall, in terms of where I lived, was amazing. The uni facilities, the sport, the media, and then other societies on campus have been really good as well.
Something for everyone, by the sounds of it. Afia, thank you very much for that. We're going to come back to you and Annie in just a sec to answer some questions that we've got. And also, those of you watching at home, you can send in your questions as well via the live comments panel on the platform that you're watching at the moment. We'll be back shortly, but first, here's a couple of other clearing stories from former students to give you a little bit of a flavour of their experience and what the clearing process is like.
My name is Sasha Langerveld. I studied philosophy. On results day, I decided to change the degree that I actually applied for, and the university that I went to didn't actually offer the degree that I wanted to do. So I went back home with my friend, and he said, you should apply for clearing. And I had no clue what it was. And then I applied to a lot of other universities, and the University of Kent came up for philosophy. I moved in, I never knew anybody, so I came here alone, and suddenly there was a lot of change happening all at once. And when I say back then, I wasn't accustomed to change, so I really just felt quite out of my depth, really. And I struggled a lot in my first year, or my first semester. And then when I came back after Christmas, I just kind of thought to myself, university is really what you make of it. So I actually started to get more involved because I didn't really know that many people. I needed to start first off with like a basis of finding people who had similar interests to myself. And through that, I managed to get more political, and I don't think I realised how political I was until I came to university. And it is very exciting. I remember my first protest, I was so excited. And it's really good to just meet people who are like-minded, like yourself, and are in for the same cause. For me, the way that I see university is, it is a journey. It's not always about just the academics, and I think a lot of people do sometimes see university as just academics and learning and teaching, but learning comes in many different forms, and I have definitely grown as a person coming to university. So I feel like if you want to have the opportunity to come to Kent and you didn't initially get that, then definitely go through clearing. It's just a different opportunity in another way.
Hi, my name is Neve and I study business and management with a year in industry at Kent. So on results day, I obviously didn't get the results I expected, and I was really disappointed at first. And then I came home and I was very upset, and I had to think through my options of what I wanted to do. I wasn't sure whether I wanted to go to uni anymore or whether I wanted to go into working. I'd say the predominant thing was that they actually made the effort to speak to me personally rather than just emailing me. They let me speak to someone quite high up who was really comforting, and the course that I wanted to do, I had a look at the modules and I was really interested. Also, I really wanted to do a year in industry. I actually got one myself at Microsoft, which was really good. I'm on the Medway campus at Kent, so I got accommodation quite easily at Liberty Keys, and it was really nice. I had a room with an ensuite, and the links were all on the Kent website, so it was very easy to organise, and you get to request how many people of each gender you want to live with as well, which was nice. Personally, a favourite highlight of mine is the society I'm in, which is the Medway Amateur Dramatic Society. I joined in first year and I made loads of friends, all in different courses in different years, which was really nice because I feel like it was quite hard to branch out if you don't join a society, so I'm really glad I did. The main piece of advice I would give is don't underestimate yourself just because you've received news you weren't expecting on that day. Evaluate all your options and have a look at the support networks. Kent is really good for support, which I found really helpful on clearing because it's a really scary time, but just really have a think about what you want to do and make sure that you definitely make the right choice for you, which hopefully is at Kent.
Couple of stories there from Sasha and Neve about their experience of the clearing process. And if you've got any questions about the clearing process or the University of Kent, you can send them in via the live comments panels on YouTube or Facebook, wherever you're watching. And if you can also go to www.kent.ac.uk/clearing to find out more there. Annie, before we get answer those questions that are coming in, obviously we're going to need to address the elephant in the room about the ongoing coronavirus pandemic. What impact will that have on students arriving in September?
Obviously, it will have an impact, and we're wanting to make everything as safe as possible. We have put procedures in place, so we've got procedures for your safety, so kind of social distancing, one-way systems, hand sanitizer. Also for your studying, so studying will be slightly different. We're going to do a blended system of online and some in person as well, but just with safety measures in place. And then also in terms of socialising, we have also plans for that as well. There's so much you can find out online about this, and there's also FAQs that you can have a look at as well. And these are going to be the best place to go to find out all of this information. In terms of socialising, societies and things will be happening, but just making sure that they're following social distancing. Sports clubs will be following their guidance from their governing bodies as well.
And I think that's really important to stress, Annie, is that, already it's an anxious time for students going through the clearing process, and with this on top of it as well. And I think it's really important to stress that though the student experience might be different to previous years, there's still the facilities and the infrastructure and the activities there in place for students still to enjoy their time at Kent.
Absolutely. Our staff are doing all they can to make sure that we can do as much as possible within the kind of the restrictions that we have.
And just a couple of other quick questions. Well, you spoke about earlier on about how the clearing process works. How can students apply to Kent via clearing? I mentioned the email address there. Tell us a little bit more about that procedure.
Yeah, so students can apply once they've got their results. They can apply directly to the university. They just need to go on the website, find the course that they're interested in. All the vacancies will be on there. And they just click apply. And then there's a form that they fill out. And that comes to us to process.
There's a question that we've got sent in as well, Annie. One is saying, I'm holding an offer from Kent in UCAS. Can I still apply in clearing?
So no, if you're holding an offer in UCAS for Kent, the best thing to do is to actually contact us through your Kent Vision portal. And then we can maybe be able to transfer the course over, and this will be better because if you've applied for accommodation or anything like that, you'll be able to keep that accommodation, and we've already got all of your details.
Afia, tell us a little bit about the Kent Vision portal. What is it, and how can prospective students find their login details for it?
Oh, I think things might have been a bit different to when I applied. I'm not too sure actually. Maybe Annie's able to answer that better. But when I done it, I'm more of like a get on the phone type of girl. So I was like speaking to someone, and I know that Neve mentioned as well. She kind of liked to just get directly on the phone. And you said that people will be answering calls from their homes. So if you're able to talk a bit more about the portal, that would be great. Thanks.
No problem. Okay,
Annie,
so
let's go
in
over
terms
to you
of
for that one.
no worries. So in terms of the Kent Vision portal, it is obviously you can call us and speak to us about your application, but it is easier for you to apply online. Once you've done that, you'll be able to log into your Kent Vision portal and see your offer and also communicate with us. In terms of logging in, you'll need your applicant ID number, your Kent number, and that will you pop that on. That'll be like your username, and then your password as well. We'll send you that so you make sure that you can log in.
I fear as well, you talk about the experience, obviously slightly different from your day. Did you feel when you were applying through clearing and you went through that whole procedure that you had all the information on hand? Were there areas that you wish you maybe had a bit more information about that maybe students who will be applying this time round, can maybe ask those kind of questions and look out for that kind of information?
Yeah, I think my main thing is just to be open-minded and flexible. I think on the day it's quite daunting day, and you just want to secure a place. And when it's clearing, you kind of just want anyone to just say yes. But I think be open-minded, because my course I originally wanted to do economics, and then ended up studying history with Spanish, and Spanish was like a long-term dream of mine to be fluent, and it kind of just happened that way. And I was just like, "Do you know what? It's just worked out how it was meant to be." So I think, if you're being offered something slightly different to what you originally wanted, I think be open-minded, and I think also don't be worried, because if that doesn't really work out for you, you get a kind of grace period when you start to then change. So I think the main thing is to just kind of go with it, secure your place, and then kind of see things as they work out from there.
And we got a couple of questions that have come in on YouTube. We're going to get those answered in just a sec. Afia, just to stay with you on that though, obviously it's not all about grades as well. And you mentioned about how you really you got yourself involved in Kent life and the student experience. What was it about the place and the course and about the activities on offer that really appealed to you, and why that was, that final decision you made in clearing was for Kent?
Yeah, so in terms of the city, I just think it's a nice mix of like city life and also quite like a nice quiet town as well. It's a good mix. I'm originally from London, so you kind of get the best of both worlds in the sense that there's all the shops that you kind of would usually get in a main city, but then it's also nice and quiet, and there's loads of green. So I enjoyed that aspect of it. And I think the accommodation at Kent is also really nice. There's varying degrees of niceness, but overall, I was really happy with where I lived in first year, and I like the campus feel as well. I was really hoping to go to a campus uni, and I think it just makes a lot of sense. You're kind of like a part of a big family, and everyone just lives like within 20 minutes of each other. And I think being part of a campus uni is just really warm and welcoming, and everyone's kind of in the same boat, where majority of people are living away from home for the first time. But the town is really nice, and the different accommodations are nice. And then in terms of extracurriculum, I was part of student media, and the student radio that they've got is of a really good quality, and the whole student media, all the facilities there are really high spec. So I was really happy about that. And I was part of netball, and again, we were part of like the British Universities league, and done really well with that. And I played in like the first team, and it was really fun. And we had like varsity where you versed the rival uni, Christchurch, which is always an interesting time. And I just think, yeah, it's a nice vibe. And on campus, everyone's like, loads of people are in their sports kit, or loads of people are like representing a society. And it's just really homely, I think.
And a good chance to set that up on the Canterbury or the Medway campus, wherever those watching end up. As I said, we've got some questions coming in on YouTube and Facebook. Annie, we've had a question in from Misha, who's asked, I didn't meet my offer for Kent. Will the requirements be lower in clearing, so I will still be able to apply to Kent through clearing?
So we don't actually release the entry requirements for clearing, but what we would say is that it's worth applying. You can apply to have multiple applications if you'd like, and also if you maybe applied for one subject and they haven't accepted you, maybe another subject will accept you.
And Annie, another question from Ben on YouTube. He's asked, if I've not been accepted onto the course that I want at Kent, can I apply to another course at Kent, for example, a combined degree?
Yes, absolutely, you can.
No, it's a nice succinct answer there. I think, Afia, just off the back of that, you were saying obviously that your journey with study kind of changed, and that you like the look of doing Spanish originally, and then you ended up doing history. And I'm sure there's other peers like you that have gone through that. How important is it, I guess, to keep those horizons open and those options open as a prospective student?
Yeah, I think it's so important to remain open-minded to what may come your way. Originally, I planned to do economics, which is another story, and I ended up doing the best in my A-levels in history. And I kind of just thought, you know what, if I've got a knack for history, we might as well see this one through. And it just made my life easier. So the history department, with the grade I got in that, were happy with that completely. And then I ended up adding the Spanish on randomly. But yeah, be open-minded. I think that day is already so much pressure that you don't want to be so stuck in your ways in what you kind of thought was going to be the way. If that's the case anyway, I think, yeah, potentially whatever you've done the best in, look into that and see, as Ben mentioned, like combined degrees, maybe you've done the best in, I don't know, like maths, but you wanted to do drama, maybe you can do maths and drama. That would be a bit mad, but there's ways of making it work, but just stay open-minded and ask questions and see how best they can make the situation for you.
Good to try a hand at many things, obviously, there. We've had a question in from Hamid, Annie. This one probably a bit more personal, so I don't know how much it can be answered, or maybe it's something that they could refer to the website. Hamid's asked, I received my Cambridge A-level results today, and it's 2 A's and 1 E. How likely am I going to get in to apply through clearing for the economics course?
Unfortunately, as you mentioned, we can't really say how likely you are. We'd have to look at your whole application, all of your different qualifications and your experience. What I can say is when you can apply through clearing, do so. It's really quick and easy application. So there's no harm in applying. It's absolutely free to do so through clearing on the website. So apply and see what the economics department come back with.
Absolutely. So all the best to you, Hamid, there. And any of you that maybe have more personal questions about your personal circumstances, you can go to www.kent.ac.uk/clearing, or indeed, obviously, get in touch with with those departments that you're applying to. We've had a question about accommodation, Annie. Will I still be able to get the accommodation of my choice if I go through clearing? That question asks.
So if you've already applied to Kent and you've already applied to accommodation, when you apply through, so you have that accommodation already set up for that course. If you decide to release yourself into clearing, and you say that you'd like accommodation on your clearing application, you won't get the same accommodation as the other application. Or if you apply through clearing and you haven't applied to us already, and you say you'd like accommodation, we will allocate your accommodation. So you won't necessarily get a choice. You'll just get one of our many lovely accommodation spaces.
Mm-hmm.
That's really good to hear. We've got not so much a question, but we've had a comment sent in from Eddie on Facebook talking about his time at Kent, saying that it was an unforgettable experience. He studied LLM at the Kent Law School, had an awesome time, he said, with students and everything in Canterbury, and he's actually considering returning to Kent for his PhD research. So Eddie, thank you very much for getting in touch, and obviously bodes well and for all those prospective students looking to come to Kent, and kind of speaks to what Afia, what you were saying earlier about that experience and that community feel that is at Kent. You spoke, Afia, about some of the activities you got involved in, the course that you decided to take in the end. What were some of those highlights for you at Kent?
Oh, highlights. I had the opportunity to host a TEDx talk, which was fun, and I think also, yeah, varsity, which is the massive sports competition against Canterbury Christchurch Uni, where every single sport gets to compete. is always a massive highlight because and it happens towards the end of the year. And then last year, actually, this year, my friend was sports editor for the Inquirer magazine, so I kind of tagged along to loads of extra sports and ended up watching like equestrian and all these different things that I didn't even know happened in Kent. So yeah, varsity is always a good time. And I think just overall, just the friends I've made, the opportunity to live away from home and get used to a new town. I'd just say those stuff, yeah.
And there'll be many prospective students like yourself that be itching to join societies and get a flavour of that campus life. How can students join societies when they come to uni and as you said, make the most of some of those amazing sports facilities or some of those more academic societies?
Yeah, so towards the start of the year, literally within the first week or two, obviously depending on the situation with the coronavirus, there's usually a freshers fair. I hope that they're still planning to have that because that's the fair where all the different societies have a stand where they can give you information from, I don't know, like Harry Potter Society to sports societies to writing for the newspaper. All the different societies will be out representing their society, and you can literally like sign up to as many as you want. You can decide that you want to join karate, and they'll just invite you to the taster sessions, which will be like a one-off to just get a feel for it. I remember when I started, I went to cheerleading. Didn't really last long, but it was fun, and I got a bow for my hair, which I was really keen to get. And yeah, it was. You can just join as many societies as you want. There's actually no limit. You can actually do what you want. And then online on the website, like the union, there'll be like sign ups. And I'd say, depending on the sport as well, there's some fees that are part of that. But stuff like student media was like a one off payment. I think it was about £5. So it's all quite reasonable. The sporting stuff are a bit more expensive because obviously there's kit and stuff like that, and the gym membership as well. But there's definitely something for everyone within different budgets as well. So there's definitely something that you'll be able to find. And I just hope that they have the freshers fair. But I'm sure that there'll be a version of that where you can find out everything. But most things are on the Kent Union website. You can see all the different societies that the union have put together.
Well, that was kind of going to lead on to my next question, actually, Afia. For those students that are going to be going through that process on Thursday, much like yourself several years ago, where best would you advise them to go to look up information, maybe not just about clearing itself, but also about student life, about those facilities on offer, and about just life at Kent?
Yeah, there's loads of different places. Start off with the Instagram, which is Uni Kent Live. There's loads of different bits on there about student life and like on the highlights where there's been stories from people that work for the digital media team who are students who share their experience. Also on YouTube, again, University of Kent puts up some stuff. But then there's also like people's personal YouTube channels where they talk about their like first week, they talk about like first year do's and don'ts, videos on like what to pack, what not to pack. I know that was a tricky part of my situation, knowing what to bring as well to uni. So videos like that are really helpful. The Kent Uni also has like a Facebook group, and you can join the freshers page as well, like the official 2020 to 2021 Facebook freshers page. And then also Student Room and Twitter. University of Kent have quite a strong social media presence, so we're always on hand to answer questions, and most of the time it will be students responding to you, so don't be afraid to reach out. But yeah, explore. There's loads of different places we can have a look to get advice on what the places are like and the town and the courses and what you can get up to.
Annie, as you alluded to earlier on, it's a very hectic day, clearing is, very traditionally is so, and I think there's a lot of students that might think they're under real time pressure to make that decision But kind of just tell us a little bit about the sort of the response time and how quickly students need to make that decision.
Okay, so this from the student perspective.
Yeah, I think it'd be really interesting to hear maybe the student perspective, but also from the uni's perspective, how quickly will you and your team respond to those, those myriad of queries that are going to be coming in throughout the day?
Okay, so yes, it can be a hectic day, but we try and make the experience as kind of easy as possible. The application form is very easy to go through. And as I mentioned, we're easily contactable as well. And lots of people to answer your calls and any queries you might have about the application process. Once you've got your results, it is good to try and apply kind of as and when you can, when you've spoken to your advisor, when you've kind of spoken to your parents and your friends and you've decided what you want to do. You've done a little bit of research about the university that you want to apply to. But if it is kind of sooner is better than later, if possible. In terms of the university perspective, in terms of how long we take to respond, unfortunately, I can't give you an exact timeline because it would depend on the application itself, kind of how much evidence we need from you, and that sort of thing. But we will come back to you as soon as possible. If you ever need an update on your application, you can always message us or give us a ring and we can double check that for you and let you know when we think we might be able to come back to you.
And of course, it's not going to be just those prospective students that are going to be frantically trying to sort out their offer and where they're going to end up. What advice would you give to parents, and what support can parents offer during this time?
I think the parent's role is really to support your child through the clearing process and tell them not to worry, that thousands of people go through the clearing process a year. It's just another way to apply to university. And you can help them in their research of universities that have spaces, find out what those vacancies are. You can even contact the university yourself. It is nicer to speak to the applicant, but if they're upset and you would like to find out a little bit yourself, you can always do that.
And we're just coming to the end. Just a few more questions. If anybody watching on YouTube or Facebook has any more burning questions, you can obviously send those in the live comments panel and we'll get them answered for you. Annie, will students also have a chance to discuss finances, scholarships, bursaries, that sort of thing, and what sort of finances are available?
Yes, so you can call and ask about scholarships. We do have a scholarships team that will be dealing with those queries. In terms of your student finance queries, the best place to call is Student Finance England. If you're applying for a student loan, that's the best place to talk to. But in terms of scholarships, you can find all the information on our website and you can apply there as well. I think that basically covers the question.
Absolutely. Afia, just final thought from you, having obviously gone through the process. What tips would you have for students this Thursday?
Oh, I would say stay calm. That is the first thing. I think, everything happens for a reason, and where you're meant to be is where you'll end up. I know so many friends that had ideas that they were going to go here and then ended up somewhere else, a completely different uni, but everything just worked out for the best, and they completely understand why they ended up there. They've met the most amazing people, the most amazing lecturers, and have just had an amazing time in a city that they never expected to live in. So just stay calm and trust the process. Also to be open-minded with the courses. You never ever know. At the end of the day, I mean, the amount of A-levels that you've done, you've got kind of flexibility in that sense of being able to potentially switch what you wanted to do and potentially do a different one of your A-levels as a degree. So stay open-minded and just go with the flow, see what happens. And I think like Annie was saying, the sooner the better as well, because at the end of the day, that just puts you in a more calm position, knowing that you've made the call or you've gone online and applied. And just get on it straight away. I wouldn't leave it at all, because the sooner the better. And Yeah, come to Kent. I hope it all works out for everyone, as I'm sure it will. And yeah, I hope you have an amazing time in September and onwards.
Very wise words there. Annie, over to you similarly as well. What advice would you have for students for this Thursday, and a final call to come to Kent?
I would reiterate that as well. So keep calm. And if you are really worried, do ring us, because we've got people answering the phones. We want to talk to you. We want to make sure you feel happy with your application. Other thing I would say is, in terms of the sooner rather than later, that is great. And also in terms of that, if we do ask you for evidence to do with your application, in providing that as soon as you can, it's going to help us process your application and make sure that we come back to you and you've got a place at university ready to start in September. And best of luck.
Best of luck indeed. Well, that's about all we got time for. Annie and Afia, thank you very much for answering those questions and joining us this afternoon. Anyone who's got any more questions, you can send those in to www.kent.ac.uk/clearing. And thanks obviously to you at home watching on YouTube or Facebook for sending in those questions, and for hopefully having a little bit more information about the clearing process this Thursday. We've got a couple of short videos to play for you in a sec to show you what the Canterbury and the Medway campuses are like, giving you a little virtual tour of the University of Kent. But that's all from me. On behalf of everyone at the University of Kent, I'd like to wish you all the very best of luck this Thursday, and we hope to see you here in the not too distant future. Goodbye.
Hi, my name is Olga. Welcome to the University of Kent's Canterbury campus. So this is Templeman Library. It's got so much study spaces for you and your friends to get some work done. It's got over 1 million books and journals for you to do your work, and also the library staff are a dedicated team of people to help you and answer any questions that you might have. So welcome to the Plaza. This is normally where the hub of activity takes place on campus. There's loads of places to eat and drink with your friends with. There's also a bookshop and also one of the 2 of the co-ops on campus. So behind me is a sports centre here at the University of Kent. There's something for everyone. There's a gym, fitness and dance studios, martial arts training areas, and even a physio clinic. With sport and fitness at the University of Kent, you name it, we got it. Not far from the sports centre, you have Parkwood Student Village. Parkwood is an amazing place to meet amazing people. I met some of my best friends here in my first year. There's other areas to live on campus, such as Keynes, Turin and Darwin. Parkwood is next to our campus pub Woody's, which is a great place to relax and socialise with friends. So across the street from Parkwood, you have the sports field under Pavilion. On Wednesdays, sports teams can be found training or playing against other unis. In quieter times, it's a great place to chill and keep to any social distancing rules. So we're back in the centre of campus and we're outside the Gulbenkian. The Gulbenkian is a place of entertainment here on campus. It's a cinema, it's a theatre, it's also got a music hall called the Collier Ferguson, which will all be open once lockdown has been eased. But the Gulbenkian has so many shows, whether that's comedy, theatre, dance, and if you're part of a performance society here at the University of Kent, you might have the opportunity to perform here just like I did when I was a student. So saving the best place for last, it's many people's favourite places on campus. It's the one and only, the campus green. It's got a wonderful view of the cathedral, plenty of wide open space, and what better view to have of the city of Canterbury.
Hello, my name is Timmy Olainka. Welcome to the University of Kent Medway campus. So beside me is the Drill Hall Library, the longest library in Europe. When I was doing my dissertation, I remember I needed so many resources. The Drill Hall Library staff were always there to help me whenever I had any questions. So this is definitely the place to be to achieve those top marks and to do some social distance study. Behind me is the Deep End, which is the student hub on campus. Every single day of the week, we have so many activities with our top performers, theatres and plays all being hosted at the Deep End. I'm just hoping very soon, in the near future, we can have some more. And behind me is the sports centre. It has a fully equipped gym and a large sports hall for volleyball, basketball and of course, five-a-side football. So close by are the Medway building and the Gillingham building, as well as the Medway School of Pharmacy. Inside the Gillingham building, we have the School of Social Policy, Sociology and Social Research, as well as the Centre for Journalism. Inside the Medway building, we have the School of Sports and Exercise Science and the School of Computing. It's also the home of KMTV, the university's part-owned local television station. KMTV offers a lot of students internships where I'm having an enjoyable time and developing myself for my future career. Keys offers modern and suite accommodation to students. Each flat has about 5 to 8 students with a fully equipped shared kitchen. Keys has a lot of social spaces and a laundrette. And if you're looking for a quick bite, then Keys has Subways, Domino's and Tesco Express. It's a great place to live if you're looking for somewhere close to the Medway campus and popular sites around Medway. Medway has much to offer. Take Rochester, for example. You can shop along the cobbled high street, take a trip to the famous castle or cathedral, and a journey to London on the train is less than an hour. Medway is also home to the historic dockyard Chatham. We're over here at the historic dockyard Chatham, which is a maritime museum, which showcases the unique history of the Medway region. This region is also being used for so many blockbuster movies and TV series sets. The University of Kent also has a presence here, and behind me is a galvanizing shop, which is a great location for the Kent Business School students and the music and audio technology students to enjoy some great food, time with friends, and live gigs between classes. I hope you found out a little bit more information about the Medway campus here at the University of Kent. If you're looking for any more information, please visit our website and our social media pages. Thank you very much for watching, and we hope to see you soon.